Hello, hello, hello. I haven't done one of these in a while.
Yay! Says here, go live with Kevin McHale.
You did it.
I did.
Mr. Sneaton. Hello. Look, someone said come to San Carlos. Did you see that in the comments?
Somebody said come to San Carlos?
Yes.
It's probably somebody I know. Okay, and a lot of people know, I think, that you've been to Brazil lots of times and you have been to São Carlos.
I have, thanks to you and your family. The reason why I'm so obsessed with Brazil is because of this lady right here and her sons.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
Shannon's
it.
here, Marco's here. So,
Shannon's
people
here,
jumped on
Marco's
quickly.
here. Hi,
Hello.
everyone.
So, Paula, right here, who I've known for forever, has done a really, really hard thing and written a book, a full book. Haven't you?
I started it and I finished it.
We've talked so many times over the years, like all these processes, because it seems like writing a book seems like that would be the hard part.
Yes.
No, and I'm not in a robe. My sister's asking if I'm in a robe. No, I'm not in a robe. Mind your business. But
Oh my gosh.
you wrote this book that we're going to
Yeah.
talk about, and I'm doing a book club. So everybody, after watching this, go buy the book off of Amazon. It's called Kathini. Yes, there it is.
Yep.
So you and I met when I was 19.
Yeah, I would say 18, 19, around there.
I've really grown up with you, you know?
Yes. I have grown up with you.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh
And
my God, when will it stop?
the joke is, Paula is the person in our friend group who we all go to. Like, if anybody is happy, sad, whatever, like, you go to Paula's house and they're just there because, like, the energy you radiate makes everyone want to be around you, and we all trust you, and you're like our wise hippie sage woman who has a master's in yoga.
Oh my gosh. Yet is capable of having half a bottle of wine while she's cooking.
Mm-hmm. we are
Right?
complex beings,
Yes, we are complex.
multifaceted.
Yeah, so multifaceted.
So I wanted to hop on today to just give people like an opportunity to meet you
Mhm.
and also sort of hear about what inspired this incredible book.
Mhm.
So why don't we start with what gave you the idea to start writing this book in the first place?
I think crisis. Crisis is what made me think of writing the book, because it was about a time of my life where so many things happened that it was like, what do I do with all this? Which is, I think, what makes us all create art a lot of times, right? A movie, or write a song, write a poem. You're just like, man, I don't know what to do with this thing that's inside of me. So probably crisis, which also is what made the stories happen. All of them began with a crisis here or there. Personal, professional,
Mm-hmm.
unemployment,
Mm-hmm.
right? Immigration.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, definitely crisis, which is something that we don't usually think of as a positive thing, but if you think about it, it's got its positives there, doesn't it?
Yeah, I suppose when you have reached rock bottom, there's only one direction to go.
Yes, there's only one direction to go. You're like, I've got to do something with this, right?
And you bring up a good point about like when you have a lot of those, that avalanche, I think, of seemingly bad things happening, and they tend to just
Mhm.
happen all at once. And
Mhm.
being able to like find that outlet is really important
Yeah.
instead of keeping it all bottled up, because I think besides obviously having like witnessed your journey
Yeah.
and what was happening to you in real time, being
Mhm.
able to read it, and for those of us who know you, your perspective of things, especially the difficult times,
Mhm.
is life changing,
Mhm.
because you are able to go through those things and be like, well, maybe this can be a great thing. Why not let this be a positive thing? But when you're in it, it's really hard to remember that. And I felt like reading the book, it's just like layered with that in every single chapter. And you are also not one to sugarcoat things.
Mhm. That's
So
true.
you bluntly talk about these things. Like
Yeah.
you just mentioned briefly, what was it? It was a job crisis. There was immigration. Like there was sort of like a trifecta of things.
Divorce.
Yeah.
Financial difficulty, having $200 to live the rest of the month and having 10 days to go. Just things that we go through here and again, and we like to forget that they happen. But I have this mantra that I'd love to share. You know
Please.
it. But I know that sometimes people who are watching it, which is, I wonder how this is going to benefit me.
Hmm.
So no matter what happens, even if it's like you get a flat tire, it's like, I wonder how this is going to benefit me. Because it's so true that sometimes things happen like that. You get a flat tire, you meet the man of your life,
Hmm.
or this other thing happens. And in my case, I lost a job during the real estate crisis.
Hmm.
I actually lost my job 3 times in a row because
Hmm.
the companies kept closing. So, and then I gained a life. Instead of a job, I gained a whole new, because having lost my job all those times and then having to find a way to figure things out led me to a new way of living, which led me to my nomadic time in life, which is now leading me to a second book. So, yeah, sometimes suffering is like a little wormhole to a parallel reality.
With good things.
Of good things.
Yeah. I I cried several times reading this book.
Mhm.
Yes, because I'm also in it, but also because my mom's reading the book,
Mm.
and she said she was very, I don't think I told you this.
Uh-uh.
She was very, very, very excited. She's like, oh my God, I'm on page 90. She's like, it feels like I'm in the room and talking to Paula as I'm reading it, because it is so her voice, which I think is remarkable, because I think that's a really hard thing to do. And I think one of your best qualities is the
Mhm.
way you speak, even your tone of voice.
Mhm.
People can hear, like, you are a calming presence.
Mhm.
And the way you can distill, I think, complicated feelings and emotions and topics into really relatable um, ways to receive them is like a remarkable thing.
Mhm.
You're so good at that, and you, and on top of all the emotional strife that you're going through in the book, you decide to take a job as a manager of a boat project in
Mhm.
Brazil.
Mhm.
You don't know anything about boats,
Not the first thing. Not the first thing. Mm-mm.
but I mean, you're Brazilian, so you know how to speak Portuguese.
Yeah,
You're
but I don't
American, you know how to speak
know
English.
the vocabulary.
No, it's a whole different language. So, in that moment of, oh shit, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, everything is falling apart.
Yes.
Why did you, how did that happen? Like, why did you decide to just accept that job?
It really unfolded. It's an interesting thing that you say that because it just unfolded. Nobody could have planned that. I certainly didn't plan it. My sister came to me when I was like, one day talking sisterly talk. I'm like, yeah, everything's good. I just don't know what I'm going to do. She's like, you've got children to raise. You're on your own. What are you going to do? I'm like,
It's fine, I swear.
it's fine. It's all going to work out. And then a couple of days later, she was like, "Hey, I'm putting a house together, and do you want to come and bring some things for me from the U.S.?" And she didn't know. Nobody knew this boat was going to be built. It was
Mhm.
in nobody's mind. But when you show up, for one thing, obviously, my first response was, "Are you nuts? I'm going to take a vacation. I'm unemployed. I've got children to feed. And I'm going to go to Brazil to bring you some linens?" The first thing that went through my mind was, "You're mad." But
Yeah.
actually, it was my spirit whispered. It really was that whisper. It's like, but maybe something could come of this,
Hmm.
right? And
Hmm.
it is, it's showing up in those times and jumping into the flow of the universe, because this boat was on no one's mind. We were puttering around the bay one day during this trip that I took
In Brazil.
into Brazil with the linens.
Hmm.
So I got to go on a shopping spree with somebody else's credit card, which was great. And then I get there with all the linens, and we're there for a while. And I'm puttering around in the bay with Charles, her husband, and we come across this village. And this village is a village of boat builders, fifth generation boat builders. And it is bucolic. It is cute. The children are like jumping off the pier and playing,
And
and
what part of
that
Brazil
thing.
is this?
This is in Bahia, northern Brazil.
Hmm.
And Bahia is where it's the melting pot of Brazil. That's where the Africans arrived. This is a historical part of Brazil because it's also where Brazil was discovered. So it's the oldest part of Brazil. It steeps all these colors and
Hmm.
heritages. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I know we mostly speak about Sao Paulo and Rio when we speak of Brazil, but Bahia is a beautiful place. And so there we were. And all of a sudden, when we get off the boat, we had a little speedboat. It was nothing special. And we're puttering around. We get to this little village. We're like, wow, oh no, I have a cat on my seat. So we're puttering around. We get off there, and we hear of their story, which is, we've been building boats for 5 generations, but now nobody wants to build boats anymore. Everybody is forgetting who we were. The craft is being lost. People are going to sell shoes or work in other places, right? And all of a sudden, as we're leaving, Charles says, "You know what? What if we built a boat in this little village?" Yeah, we thought it was an island because it looked like
Right.
an island. It was the end of a peninsula.
Hmm.
Anyway, and that's how the idea came up. And at first it was like, "No, you're mad. They how would we do that?" They don't know how to read plans. They just knew how to build boats because it was handed down
Yeah. It's like generational
generation.
knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to jumping into what sometimes the universe is bringing around to you. Oh, I'm so afraid of losing this job, or I'm so afraid of changing this career. Sometimes that thing can, moving out of this relationship, whatever it is.
Hmm.
And so nobody knew we were going to build a boat. It was just, me showing up with the
Yeah.
linens, unemployed, you know.
And then your life was changed.
And then my life was changed because this idea from one month to the next, and that's in the book, here I was, I flew back and I was like, now what?
Hmm.
I took the linens. I'm like, so do I look for another job? That's not my heart was not asking for that. My heart was like, I want to do something bigger. I